Hello everyone, it's Kari, and today I'm excited because we're going to be creating with some brand new product from Crafty Meraki. This is called Orchid Opulence, and it has a coordinating die also available, which is a one-piece die. This stamp set is also a one-piece stamp set. So what is so beautiful about that is you can create all of these images at once and then cut them all out, including the sentiments, and create lots of beautiful projects. Today I'll be creating a card using some foil in addition to these lovely orchids, and I'm going to be coloring them up today in my very favorite way to color up spotted orchids. So I'll show you that in just a minute, but first let's go ahead and stamp this entire thing out. Now I did find that it is great to use a stamp positioning tool like this MISTI here, so that you can stamp it multiple times and get a really nice dark impression. I'm using some black ink today that is Copic friendly, and you'll see how this all stamps out all together at once. I'll stamp it a couple of times just to make sure I get a really great look, and there we go. That's going to be pretty good right about there. And now I'm ready for coloring. So I will be using my Copic markers today. This is one of my favorite things to do for coloring, like I said, those spotted orchids, and that is I find three colors that are complementary. Today I'm using some shades of pink, and I have here RV66, RV56, and RV52, and I'll use that to blend those through with the darkest color closest to the inside, blending out to the lightest color closest to the outside. And I'll also use the colorless blender to blend that a little bit on the outside of each petal. Now I'm doing these a little bit darker than I've done in the past, and I kind of liked it. So it's really fun to just experiment with what you like. Choose 3 or 4 different colors and just start blending. And then what we're going to do, once we have at least this base layer down, sometimes I'll go back through and color them once again, all the way through the color blend. But today I am going to be using some polka dots to create those little spots on our orchids. So after I'm finished coloring this out, as you see, I'm going to be blending that just a little bit more by using the tip to tip method, with the lightest color blending into the mid-tone, and then blending that out just a little bit darker, just like that. And now we'll take the darkest color and create those spots. Now orchids are so beautiful, I think, when they have those little spots. Some are smaller, some are larger, so I'm trying to create a variety of different sizes here, and I'm just going rather quickly and not thinking about it too much, because they're not always going to be exactly the same in nature. And that's all there is to it. That's how I'm going to color all of these up. And I'll color the buds up much the same way, using darkest, medium, and blending out to the lightest. But these will be a little darker than the rest of the flowers. One thing I wanted to mention is that if you don't enjoy coloring, Crafty Meraki also has this available in Effortless artistry paper, which are already colored for you, and all you have to do is cut them out. So that's a beautiful option, and I will link that below in the supply list so you can take a look. Now I'll line this die up, and it will cut all of these out at once, including those sentiments. So it's a really neat, beautiful set. I'll tape that on before taking this to my die cut machine, and look at all the things that we get. And you can mix and match these sentiments as well. So there's all our orchids, all our sentiments, and they are just beautiful. I love creating a lot at once because you really can create quite a few cards with this, or projects, or you can save some for later. So this is the foiled background paper I'm going to be using today. This is called the Floral Filigree paper, and you can see I've already foiled this using an orchid color. So pretty, and I wanted it to match my orchids today. So this color is kind of a magenta color, but it matches my orchids. And now I'm just going to create a layout. I'm going to build up quite a few of these orchids as a stem here. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 different die cuts. And then I will use the words birthday hugs for my sentiment. So now to put this all together, I wanted to make sure I kept that floral arrangement just as I had set it down here. And so I'm going to use some press and seal to place right over the top of those flowers. I'm going to move these flowers out of the way here, and then I'm going to press down on the left-hand side so that I can just pick this up just over, just like this. And I'll tape that panel down so nothing moves. And then I can go ahead and ink around the edges just a little before we place all our flowers down. I'm using some Distress ink in the color Villainous Potion, so there's a slight bit of purple around the edges, and that'll give it kind of a dreamy, smoky look, which I love. So I'm quickly just going to finish around the edges. I'll remove the tape so that I can ink along the top edge there as well. I'm just going to hold that down for a minute. There we go. And then I'll place the tape right back over so that I can put the flowers back where they were. I'm using some liquid adhesive today just to glue those down. And then I'll go ahead and hinge that right back over onto my panel and glue all of the flowers down. Just like that. Now it did shift just a little, so I'm going to make sure I like it just like that. Press it all down and then pull up that press and seal, and we'll get a pretty good result there. I did have to add a little bit of glue here and there to some of them, but that's no worries. There we go. So there's our panel, and now we can go ahead and clean up our work surface before adding the rest of this. So I just used some water real quick and wiped that ink off of my work surface. So here's a look at our panel so far. I'm going to trim off anything that falls over the edge, at least the bottom stem I am. The rest I couldn't bear to cut. So there are a couple of orchid petals that go over that left edge there, and I just decided to leave those as is. Now I'll take some foam adhesive strips and add that to the back of the sentiment, just like this. That way we can pop the sentiment up just a little bit, and that will be a beautiful birthday hugs. These strips of adhesive are perfect because they're already skinny enough that they fit on the sentiment and I don't have to cut them down. And now we can just add that to our card panel, just layering a little bit of glue around the edge and then a little bit in the center, and then I'll glue that to the card base. And the card base I'm using is a thicker weight cardstock. It's 110 pound, and that'll create a really nice card for this. So there's a look. So you can see the foil shimmering in the background, so pretty with those orchids. And there's a look at the spotted orchids there. A really fun card to create. I hope you did enjoy this video today. I really did enjoy creating it for you. Oh, and here's that floral filigree Effortless shimmer paper that I was telling you about that I used with the foil. So there's a closer look at our cards. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up and comment. We really enjoy hearing from you. I'll be back real soon with more cards to share as well. Until then, happy crafting.